Earlier we discussed how China's nuclear submarine construction pace has truly been eye-opening over the past 5 years, launching more new vessels annually than the United States. But once this speed is mentioned, the next question becomes even more intriguing. Can quality keep up with quantity? Are these newly launched vessels actually combat-ready? To address this, we must examine precisely what China has been building. According to that think tank's report, the first Type 093B attack submarine was launched in 2022, featuring significant changes compared to previous models. By 2024, they had established a 1+2 production rhythm, simultaneously completing 1 strategic nuclear submarine and 2 attack submarines annually, a rarity in the past. Satellite imagery confirms that Bohai shipbuilding heavy industry in Huludao expanded its facilities and added new production lines between 2019 and 2022, enabling this parallel construction. Behind this single shipyard alone, nearly 17,000 suppliers reportedly support nuclear submarine production, a truly robust industrial foundation. Meanwhile, the situation in the United States is somewhat complicated. It's not that they don't want to accelerate production, they genuinely cannot. The report makes it clear that U.S. shipyards have faced chronic labor shortages in recent years, with a 25% gap in critical technical positions. General Dynamics Electric Boat plans to hire 8,000 new workers this year, but training them takes time. Skills aren't acquired overnight. Thus, despite the Navy's goal of building 2 Virginia-class submarines annually, actual deliveries since 2022 have averaged only about 1.1 per year. The Congressional Research Service report also warns that in the coming years, as aging Los Angeles-class submarines are decommissioned, the U.S. attack submarine fleet could plummet to a low of 47 vessels. This contrast makes China's production capacity advantage even more pronounced. However, rapid construction on the slipway doesn't guarantee stealth at sea. That's where true prowess is tested. China's latest Type 093B and newly unveiled Type 095 attack submarines have indeed incorporated significant technological advancements. Older models, like the early Type 093, were notoriously noisy, earning them the nickname underwater tractors from Western media. But the new ones are different. Recent analyses note the Type 095 employs pumpjet propulsion, replacing the noisy 7-bladed high-pitch propeller. Its hull also features new acoustic tiles. Crucially, it pioneers an X-shaped rudder design on Chinese nuclear submarines, enhancing maneuverability and contributing to stealth. Estimates suggest the Type 095's noise level may have dropped to near that of the U.S. Virginia class, roughly between 95 and 100 decibels. If true, this represents a significant leap from underwater tractor to silent deep-sea hunter. Now regarding firepower, the Type 093B features a bulge behind the conning tower housing a vertical launch system. This means it can not only attack submarines and warships with torpedoes but also deploy long-range anti-ship missiles and even land attack cruise missiles. Reports suggest it can carry the YJ-19 hypersonic anti-ship cruise missile with a range exceeding 2,000 kilometers. This is formidable. If true, it could launch attacks from beyond the air defense perimeter of a U.S. carrier strike group. Carrier groups are most vulnerable to such standoff saturation strikes, as existing air defense systems struggle to intercept hypersonic missiles. This transforms China's attack nuclear submarines from mere close escorts for carriers into stealthy killers capable of delivering lethal strikes from thousands of kilometers away. So what exactly are these new submarines built for? Their utility is substantial. One role is escorting carrier strike groups. China's carriers are conducting increasingly frequent training exercises in the Western Pacific, venturing farther afield. Attack submarines must accompany carriers to counter enemy submarines lurking below. The Type 095, with its superior stealth and high speed, is ideally suited for this mission. Another role involves independent operations deep in the Pacific to monitor adversaries. For instance, they could lie in wait near U.S. naval bases, or track enemy strategic nuclear submarines. Achieving this capability would significantly increase pressure on the U.S. military. Whereas Americans once roamed freely near China's doorstep, they may soon have to adjust to the presence of Chinese submarines near Guam, Hawaii, or even the U.S. West Coast. However, these seemingly promising concepts currently face a critical bottleneck: geographical constraints. Specifically, the first island chain mentioned earlier. Chinese submarines departing from northern bases must pass through the Miyako Strait, while those heading south must traverse the Bashi Channel. These waterways are now under constant surveillance by U.S., Japanese, and South Korean anti-submarine aircraft and underwater sonar arrays, effectively functioning as underwater checkpoints. Noisy submarines attempting to navigate these passages are easily detected. Even Chinese naval officers have acknowledged in academic journals that the probability of submarines being spotted upon departure is very high, and the likelihood of being tracked and intercepted in coastal waters remains considerably high. This means that despite improvements in the stealth capabilities of new submarines, whether they can slip through these gates undetected remains a major question mark. Consequently, China's strategic nuclear submarines, the Type 094 class, remain primarily confined to the South China Sea. The region's deep waters, coupled with China's artificial islands equipped with aircraft and warships, create a protective underwater fortress. Stationed here with the longer-range JL-3 submarine-launched ballistic missiles, these submarines can strike the U.S. west coast without ever leaving their base. This represents a pragmatic choice constrained by geography, yet staying at home is no substitute for venturing out. If China could break through the island chain and freely patrol the Pacific, its submarine-launched missiles would cover more targets, become harder to track, and see their deterrent power multiply. The question is, when will such a breakthrough be achieved? Some analysts believe this is tied to the Taiwan issue. Key points of the first island chain, such as the Bashi Channel, lie southeast of Taiwan. If Taiwan were reunified, China's naval and air forces would gain significantly wider access to the Pacific, and anti-submarine forces could advance to establish safe corridors for submarines. But this is no longer a purely technical issue. It involves far too many factors. How many nuclear submarines does China currently possess? Estimates vary, but recent figures suggest around 32 vessels, including upgraded Type 093 and 094 submarines, plus the first Type 095. This number surpasses Russia's fleet, placing China second globally. Yet the U.S. Navy still operates 71 nuclear-powered submarines, with superior foundations in stealth technology, sensor capabilities, and training experience. The conclusion is straightforward yet paradoxical. On one hand, China's shipbuilding speed and supporting industrial capabilities are truly astonishing. The tonnage launched in just 5 years surpasses the total of the previous decade, outpacing the annual launch volume of the U.S. Navy. This has caused considerable psychological impact on U.S. planning departments, with even the Congressional Research Service expressing concerns about potential shortages in attack nuclear submarines in the coming years. On the other hand, increased numbers do not equate to effective strategic advantage. As long as China cannot break through the underwater trap of the island chain, and as long as its submarines cannot guarantee 100% stealth through narrow waterways, their operational effectiveness remains compromised. The Chinese Navy now faces a critical challenge. Rapid production is only the first step. The next test is proving these submarines can operate beyond the island chain and return safely. The upcoming Type 096 strategic nuclear submarine is reportedly in development. If it incorporates advanced noise reduction technology and enters mass production, that will be the true game changer. At that point, the underwater power balance across the entire Pacific may undergo a genuine reshuffle.